Hello and welcome to July's Stitch Circle Show Challenge. If you're used to visiting my channel, you know what I'm talking about, but if you're new here, a warm welcome to you, and of course also a warm welcome to all other who is following along here. But if you're new here, everything I mentioned with links on you can find below here under the little word more. And there is a link for the playlist for this Stitch Circle Show Challenge 2026. There also is a link for the one I hosted in 2025, but that group on Facebook is closed, and if you can't be a member anymore. But all the videos are still lying here, and if you want to do it anyway, you can find all the videos. And under the videos there is all the Dogma rules for the specific challenge. Last year it was every week, but this year it is every month. And we are going bigger in size this year and a lot more stitching. But again, you have a whole month to do it. And you can say Stitch Circle Show Challenge. Yeah, it's a little funny name. It's like a alcohol test to say that quick, but it has to have a name, and this is what it is. It's about circles, and it's about me setting some very simple Dogma rules for the challenge. And I know some of you perhaps don't like rules, but everybody knows the fear of the blank page or the fear of the blank piece of fabric, and really want to do something but don't know what to do. And using some simple Dogma rules, wherever it is me who is setting the rules or yourself who is setting rules up for yourself, you are going and you know what to do. And you can pursue the rules and do it and say that was that. But during the process, probably something will happen and you will think, oh, I could have done this, or oh, what about this? And I could do it this way, or so and so and so. And if you changed it during the process, when you're doing it by yourself, there isn't any embroidery police coming after you. But if you want to participate here and be a member of the group and do the challenge, please try to stick to the rules. And then again, if you want to do more than one, the second one, you can take the rules and bend and break them as you want and see what you can get out of that. But for me, it is a very easy and I think very important way to work, because everybody can start at some point and go from there. And this challenge isn't about learning hundreds of different stitches, but because we all probably end up using the same 10 or 15 stitches because that is the stitches we like. So look at the previous month and see if it's something for you, and you can apply for being a member in the Facebook group, and there's a link below here. And don't apply if you don't want to do the challenge, then you can just look here. But in the group we have albums for every month, and the participants or members of the group put their pictures of their embroideries in the album, and it is such an incredible joy to look at all the very beautiful embroideries members are doing. And it's a great inspiration source, but it requires that you want to participate yourself to look at all the other stuff. So what you can look at is this video, and you can do it by yourself. And I know also that many of you don't like social medias, and I also have my with them sometimes. And So I think there's sitting several people around the world doing this challenge without me knowing, because I never see what they do. But that is why here on YouTube I've recently discovered that there is a community tab, and it is, if you have the banner photo here, there is some and above the little word more, there is a tab saying community site or something. Mine is in Danish, so it's another word for in Danish, but it's the same. And there you can upload or write things if you want to show what you have been doing, so I can see it. And then you don't have to be a member of Facebook or Instagram or anything else. So use that option if you will show me what you're doing. And I'm so curious. I really like to see what people are doing. And that also gives me an indication if I'm sitting on a lonely island and just doing it by myself, or if there is interest for this. The only thing about this community tab is on my personal computer, my PC, it works, and on my iPhone it works, but on my tablet it doesn't work. And I don't know if it's because my tablet is some years old and it can't take so much, there isn't so much room in it, so you will have to look at different places to see if you can find that community tab. But it is there in some of your devices with a big memory in, I think. The last thing I want to say before we get started here is I quite forgot if I introduced myself, but my name is Lisbeth and I'm Danish, so pardon my sometimes very bumpy English. I'm a mixed media artist who likes many different things, and look at the playlist and find other things that interest you. But I really, really like to teach, and I like to have projects going on. And the last little tip I want to say is, if anybody wants to support my work with this challenge here, or supporting my YouTube channel, I have a Ko-fi account where you can support me, and there also is a link here below under the video. But in any way, don't feel obligated. This is a free challenge. You don't have to pay anything, but if you want to, you have the possibility by using that Ko-fi account. I think that is all. So now I will, you can see here, I have this book. I placed all my pieces in a book, and this was June. So I will put that book away now, and then it is ready for gluing in when we reach that point. But I will tell you about the rules for this July's challenge. We go, and it is the same as it has been all the other months. Find a substrate. It doesn't matter what it is, you aren't going to see it. That is 25 by 25 centimeters. And that is approximately the same as 10 by 10 inches. So that is my substrate. And then you have to find a piece of fabric in a solid color, not with a big pattern on. And I don't interfere in your color choices here in this year's challenge, but I have decided to use this fabric. So that's the size is the same every month. It can be different what we're doing here, but this month here, just one piece of fabric, 25 by 25 centimeters in solid colors. And for the thread, you will have to use 8 different colors, and you can decide whatever you want to do. And I have chosen these ones. And no surprise, haha, to those of you who have seen my other works, that is my favorite color scheme. Every month I also trace a circle here, and mine here is 22 centimeters, but you can make it 20 to 22 centimeters. You trace a circle around here, and then what can I say? I will go a little back, but before you trace that circle, we have to invisible base this down and cut it nearly off in the same size. This is fraying awfully, this very nice fabric here, so I won't cut it totally down because some of it will probably be fraying while I'm working on it. But it would end up 25 by 25 centimeters. And when this is the invisible base down, and I will show you what I will do that, I trace that circle on 20 to 22 centimeters. And in this case, just make a round with running stitches or double running stitches. That is up to you. But when you have this circle, I want you to divide it up as you would divide up a cake or a pizza in 16 slices. So you go that way and that way, that way and that way, and then you do them in halves. And I haven't right now decided if I want to trace these lines, but I don't think so. But we will see as far when I get started, because I haven't done this before. This is new to me. I have given it some thoughts and think, oh, this and this and this what I will be doing. But if it works, I in fact quite don't know yet. But you have 16 slices of your pizza or your cake here. And in this month's challenge, we are only going to use the feather stitch. And my inspiration has been flower heads, or you know, when the dandelions are they have bloomed, and the head is like 1,000 small seed pods ready to blow in the wind, or a very dense head of a flower. That is what I have in my head now. So as I said, we'll only use the feather stitch, and you can vary the feather stitch in so many ways. You can make a single feather stitch and a double feather stitch and a triple, or you can make them with an extra little knot or an extra little feather stitch under a feather stitch. You can also make that stitch that's called a mermaid stitch. And yeah, there are many variations of this, and I will try here in this and do a lot of different ones of them, and then I can show them every time I do a new sort of it. So it will be many variations of this feather stitch here, and I have 16 areas to sew them in. And I will sew mine so they end up here in the middle, like they are blooming out or spreading out this way here. So hopefully it would end up looking like a big flower head. How you will place your colors in the 16 areas is up to you. And it is also up to you what kind of feather stitch you will use in the different areas. I will play it by ear as soon as I start, but this is the rules, and I will write them here below under the video so you can read them quietly, and else just look here in this video, and when I'm done with this video, you know more about what I'm talking about, instead of you can see what I'm doing. So let us get started. I will find the thread so I can invisible base this down and cut a little of it off and trace my circle. I've just taken an ordinary machine sewing thread cotton that I think would nearly disappear in the fabric here. I really like this fabric. It is a mixture of recycled polyester and linen. And normally I don't like polyester, but this is so loose weave, so it is so nice to stitch into. The only thing I don't like is that it is fraying very much, and I don't like that. So I will just see, I have room enough here all around. I can pull it a little bit this way here. There. So here we go. I have shown you this many times before. And if your fabric is very thick and you don't want to have an extra layer under, don't do that. But I think it is very nice to have something more sturdy to hold on to when I'm starting my embroidery. Yeah, I come up and then I go a couple of threads back here, and then I come up about 1 centimeter ahead of me. And there is the smallest little dot or prick. You can hardly see it. And I do the same again. Yeah. And I don't pull very hard in my thread, because if I pull very hard in my thread, this will sink in and make a small indentation, and I don't like that so much. So one slight hand. So this is the way it's going. It's a couple of threads back, about 1 centimeter ahead of you. And I will be doing this all the way around here, my fabric, and then I can cut a little of it off so it isn't so irritating, and also so I can see where to place my circle, so it will be in the middle. So this is all I am doing. Yeah, you can see me. So you can see on the back side there are some very long stitches, and here at the front you can hardly see the stitches. So that is perfect. I will be back when I have sewn all this all the way around. So I have embasted this down here. So now I will just trace my 22 centimeter circle here. It's just a pencil, and I don't pressure it very much, just so I can see it there. Okay, and I have taken, yeah, it's another color than the 8 others I have, but I think it looks nice here on that. So I will just do running stitches all the way around, and when I come around I will figure out if I want to do double running stitches. You can also do back stitches, or yeah, just a line so you can see the definition of the circle. So up and down and up and down, and you can make them as big or small as you want to. But this is quite boring to look at, so I will be back when I've been all the way around and decided what next to do. I think I will let it be as it is right now, and then if I think it needs more, I can do it at the end. So now I have to divide this piece here up in 16 areas. And I think you can also, of course, take a compass and you can just eyeball it, but it's about finding the middle there. So the way I did it, I will do it is I will line these up here. I can see the stitching there and the stitching there, and place it there. Go down here and see if it is okay. There, and then I will crease it there and measure it and see here. This is 21.5, and I will do exactly the same the other way and measure that and see if it says 21.5, and it did. So I will just make a soft pencil line here, and yeah, I think I perhaps need to, it is a little thick. I think I will go and yeah, what is it called when you're making it more pointed? Just a second. It's a little more pointy now, because if it's too blunt, your line won't hit the right place. And they will probably fade away as soon as I start working on it. It's like they are dusting off the lines when I'm doing it like this. So again, here. There, and let me measure again. Yeah, 21.5. Yes. So I will also just make that line there. And now I think I can perhaps do the same fine if I put a needle up in here or in here. I perhaps can do the same. There. Yeah, it hits. Okay. And if they ain't being totally equal, I don't think it matters very much. Nothing in nature is totally equal. There, and go up here. Yeah, up there. Crease and crease. And up with it. And this is the first 8 slices. Yeah, I think it is looking okay. And now I will just eyeball it, I think. If you would prefer it, you of course can put some running stitches in. You can pick out when you're done. I know this will disappear so quiet and easily, so and at some point I perhaps have to draw some of the lines again, but for right now I will just start here. So let us see here. I have to go through the middle there. So I will just eyeball it. And you there. And they won't be exactly the same, but I think it is fine. I will do that on the rest, and then I am ready to do some stitching. So it is divided up in 6 nearly equal parts. And if you are one of the lucky ones who have a friction pin or something, a pen that disappears by heat or water or whatever it is you can buy these days, use that. I perhaps have some of some kind of that in a place here in the house, but I often end up just using my pencil here. So let us begin. So I will just, let us just start with this color here. There. And I think I will pull you in a little, and I will just start one of the areas with the most common and the one I call the single feather stitch. When I mean single, it's because The feather stitches has a V going that way and a V going that way and then that way and then left, right, and that is what is called single feather stitches. You can also have two going that way and two going that way, and that is meant as doubled feather stitches. So let me see here. Let us come in here if that's easier. I just think I will start totally plain by coming up here in the middle. And of course all my stitches will end up here, so it will probably be quite crowded in here. But that is also the way I see some flower heads, and they are all going that way into the middle. So let's go down here a little. So here is what a normal feather stitch is like, or a single feather stitch. You come up and you go down at the same level, or in the same height, or what we can call it, and go up in the loop and there. And then I will just go like this. And now it's a little tricky because it's always for me, because I am right-handed, a little more awkward going this way here, especially when I'm filming, because normally I don't sit like this when I'm doing embroidery. I sit with the thing here on my lap. And if you want to use a hoop, of course you can use a hoop. That is also an option. But this is what is called a single feather stitch. So you have like a sort of a middle line. But of course you can also go like this, and perhaps I will do this in some of the other areas. But this is a single feather stitch in the loop in here. And again, as I said, now my legs are, I call these legs, and they are nearly the same size, but you could play also with the size of that and the angle of the placement of them. So see how much you can squeeze out of this stitch here. You have 16 areas to practice in, and perhaps you find a new way, or you find out that you like this stitch more than the other stitch way. So yeah, perhaps you learned a little about that here. And I can see I'm going a little that way now. I want to end here, so you have to take care of that. Or I can also say I go end up here, and then I will have to have a line there going down there. Yeah, there are many ways you can do this. But I think I will just sew this to the end and decide what to do next. So I will be back when I am done with this row here. So done with this area here, and you can see that is the one in the middle going all the way down. And then I made this one going until there and just connected it. And then I put the one in the middle here, and it is a little more wonky, and it is going left, right. But at some point when you start to get very close some places, I just made two to the left and none to the right. And then I made this line here and this line. So now I think it is covered quite nicely. And it's the same I will do in all the other areas. Perhaps I will do some of them double, or yeah, mix and match them a little. And now I have used this, and I know I want to use, I have to use it. Yeah, I have 8 colors and I have 16 areas. So, but I think it perhaps is, I don't know if it's too obvious to put it there. But I don't have to decide that right now. But I don't have any more time today, so I will be working further tomorrow and see what and how it will develop. Good morning to a new day and a new week. This is how far I went last day or yesterday, and it looks very nice, I think. And of course, when you come closer and closer here into the middle, it can be a little difficult, and there perhaps can be a little too much distance, but then I just make some extra stitches to fill it out, and nobody can see that it's the single feather stitches, and then there suddenly is something there extra. So I will just make it so I think it looks nice. But I'll change color to a lighter orange here, and I will make this area here. And then here I made them the feather stitches single, so now I will try to make them double. So again I will come up here in the middle. There. And let me see if I can come in a little closer here. Yeah, I can. So just the first stitch as we used to do. There, the first little fly stitch. And now I will go 2 of them to the left and 2 of them to the right. So that's a double. Here, that was the first one and the second one. And now I will go to the left and come up here. Yeah, I think I just will go down and come up here. There. And once more, the same direction here, left. Yeah, it's a little difficult for me because I'm sitting under my phone to do it, so I have to do it in a little different than I will normally do. And up here at the line in the middle. Yeah. Again, 2 to the right. 1 and 2. And again, you can play with the size of the legs here, the stitch and the ankle, but that must be for another area here. There. The first one of the 2 here to the left. So now you can see 2, 2, 2, and I will make another one. But I will fill all this area with this and also this area. And when I'm done with that, I will be back. So I am done with the double fly stitches here. And you can see at the beginning here, it goes 2 to the right and 2 to the left and so on. And when you come further down here, it can be a little more tricky, because if I was following the rule totally, I would get some blank areas or blank spaces, and I don't like that. You can see, for instance, there I have a blank space, and I don't like that. I want most of my fabric covered, so I will just make a single stitch here and make it random like this there, and just go down somewhere, and then I don't have that blank space anymore, and that's more to my taste. But again, that's totally up to you if you want these blank spaces. And when you also come further down, it can be a little impossible to do 2 left, 2 right, 2 left. So I play a little more by ear here when I come further down, because I like the surface to be filled with stitches and not some blank areas. But again, you can do what you want to do. But for me, I think it would look very nice when it's filled like this, and I really like the look of it here. So it's perhaps you could choose to do the single ones at all the areas, but again, it's nice to have some variation so it not gets so boring for you. And again, play with the length of the legs of the stitch here. I will secure this here and take the next thread and figure out which stitch, not which stitch because I know what stitch, but what kind of feather stitch I will use here. And you can see I have also sewn it down here. So right now it is looking very lovely after my opinion. So I changed thread color again to this light orange here. And I will just come up here in the middle again. And in this case, I think I will do the stitch where I put a little extra fly stitch on every fly stitch, if you can say so. It will look like a little knot, but it's not made like a knot. But you can see here, I just come up as I normally do here, like that. And then I go down nearly in the same hole and come up just under it. So it gets a little tiny extra. Yeah, you can hardly see it, I think, but a little extra one there. So that is all I'll do. I'll just make them single and do left, right, there again. And let me see, I come down nearly where I came up and come up just under the curved stitch here and go up in the loop, and then you can see there's coming a little extra stitch there. That is all I will do on these stitches here. Again, to the left, and the normal stitch, and then the little extra down nearly where you come up and just under the curved line. Again, up, and the normal stitch here, and down in the nearly the same hole and up just under the curved line of the previous stitch, and yeah, there. I will fill these two areas with that, but I think I will sew this thread up and then I will show you the next area also, and then I have something to stitch on later today. I think this video will be recorded over a couple of days because yeah, it takes it time to do this, and that's also the meaning with this challenge here. It's you're not supposed to be the first who gets ready to show you a piece. It's about enjoying doing it and take the time it takes to do it, and not rush and be finished in a hurry and don't do a lot of stitching. That's the meaning of this slow stitching, enjoyable process here. So this thread is sewn up here, so and it looks very nice with these little extra dots there. So I've just taken a new thread here, a new color, and for those of you who probably will ask what kind of thread I'm using, is I can tell you it's originally it is meant for weaving, but it's so a lovely yarn to sew with, and I don't get tangled up with a bird's nest because I used a thread that is stranded by six there's six strands, so I get a lot of extra and I end up with a bunch I can't figure out. Here I just sew with one thread at a time, but I can tell you it's Dutch brand called Venne, and the name of it is it's mercerized cotton, and the number is NM/342, and you can get it in over I think 100 different colors, and I really like to sew with this. Yeah, that was a side note, but in this area here I've decided I will go for the triple. That means you start and then you go to the right side 3 times and to the left side 3 times and so on. But I will see if I can make them smaller than I have done here, the legs, and by the legs I mean this here, because I think that would perhaps cover my surface better. So again, I will just come up in the middle, and I don't tell you that you should do it exactly like I'm doing. I don't mind if you sew them in another direction or whatever you do. Just use your 8 colors and fill out the 16 areas the way you feel for it. Yeah. Let us come down here a little here. So again, I will come up, and here that's just the beginner stitch there, and then I will go right. It's so hard to change size of your stitches when you have been doing it for a little period, because then your muscle memories tells you to do it the best it can in the same size that you just have been doing. So for me it's always tricky to change size of a stitch, but I would like them here to be smaller. So that was 3 to the right side, and now I want 3 here for my left side, but else it's exactly the same here. But now I'm doing them smaller, and hopefully it will cover my fabric. Good. I don't mind seeing a little of the fabric, but my plan is to cover it. That was 2, and up here again, that is 3. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it sounds like I'm teaching you to dance, but I ain't. 1, 2, 3. So this is what I will be doing in this area and the opposite area here, and the same with this one here over there. And that way I will have all my 8 threads 2 different times. And I don't tell you to do that. You can do exactly what you want to do. For instance, you could say every second is one color and every second is a different one. Every second is the same and every second is a different one. You could also have chosen to do that. That would give another look. There are so many ways you can do this. But now I will be stitching for myself until my lunch, and then I will see if I will do more today or I will be back tomorrow. But anyhow, I will show you when these 4 areas are stitched and what I'll decide to do next.